Yeah, it's so long ago, but you know, I do remember parts of it like it was yesterday. I had heard about Metallica. I saw them in 1982 at Lemoore in Brooklyn, which was only 7 blocks from my house, so I could walk there and crawl home. At that point in time, I saw them. I went to the West Coast to see them at the Stone in San Francisco. I gave Lars my business card, and you know, I was the same age as them. I was like 22 years old, so they looked at me like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "I am very serious. I do A&R for Elektra, and I want you to be on Elektra. And I know you're signed to another label, but we're going to work the whole thing out." Fast forward, I was doing other projects, and they were coming to play Roseland, August of 1984, with Anthrax and Raven. And I saw them, it blew my mind. I mean, you know, seeing these 4 young men who were wildly charismatic on stage. And their singer, James Hetfield, has always been charismatic. He's like a ringleader on stage. And people say, "Is that why you signed him?" I said, "Well, no, James had real good teeth, too." People think I'm nuts. And I said, "Come to my office tomorrow." They came to my office the next day. I ordered beer and Chinese food. I gave them, well, it's 84, so I gave them cassettes and vinyl. And they loved the history of Elektra. They knew about like the MC5 and the Stooges and the Doors. Cliff Burton, their bass player, also may he rest in peace. He was, he loved all kinds of music. Is it Simon and Garfunkel here? I said, "No, that's Columbia." He said, "Well, what do you got that's like out there?" And we distributed a label called Nonesuch, which was very esoteric. It was like crickets chirping in the woods. They, you know, very esoteric, very atmospheric. And I gave him all those records. He was in heaven. So that's how I guess I felt. I was over the top because I felt like I had never heard anything like Metallica before. You know, we were all, meaning everyone who loved metal, loved Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, and all those artists who were like the staples of heavy metal. And then these young kids come and just kind of blow everybody away with their brand of metal, which is about speed and punk and old school hard rock and British metal, and they combined it and made this thing called Metallica. And here we are, you know, they got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I believe, in 2009. I was here for that. I was so proud of them. And here we are in 2018, 35 years later, and they're as big as ever. It's a testament to how different and wonderful they have always been. It definitely always keeps moving. Yeah, I don't go out to concerts as much as I always do. But a very funny story, because it's about right this minute. My cousin Julie calls me from Florida and says to me, "My next door neighbor's son has a band." Now, I have heard that for 25 years now. And you know, it's always good, but good is not great. So she said, "Could I play it for you?" I said, "Sure, you could play it for me." And she sent me an independent CD. It's a band from South Florida called Ether. And I played it, and I lost my mind. It's very heavy. It's very dark. It's all about doom and gloom, my favorite style of metal. Just to give a reference, they remind me of a couple bands like I Hate God, Crowbar. Phil Anselmo from Pantera, who I adore, has yet another band that he fronts called Scour, and it reminds me of all that stuff. It's so good that I solicited 10 independent labels for them, and 2 of them have come back with offers, and I'm hoping by the time we're done with this interview that we're going to have paperwork on them. So that has me really delighted, because I really haven't been this excited about a rock and roll metal band in a very long time, and they've made me very happy. Because it's been a long time, you know, that I've looked to put myself on the line for somebody, and I don't mind putting myself on the line for these people because they're dedicated to their craft, they're really different, and that's what one always looks for, that little bit of difference that's going to make the difference. You know, I feel that the reason they've had this 35-year career still going strong is because they take risks. You know, a lot of times the fans who have followed them all this time still wish that they would make another Kill 'Em All, or another Ride the Lightning, or another Master of Puppets, their first 3 recordings. But you can't do that. And you know, there are also people who, when people talk about them, it's like they're damned if you do and they're damned if you don't. So you just can't stay the same. And I think that's why, because of them taking risks musically, sonically, production-wise, the songs just get bigger and better. That's why they have sustained this career that they've had, because they're no nonsense. They do what they want. And luckily, what they want to do, the fans still respond to. That's a blessing, because not many people these days can say, oh, they still have this 35-year career and they're playing stadiums still. Wow, right on.